Yeah. Yeah. SB.
Hey friends, welcome to the very first episode of Megan and Friends, where we celebrate the ordinary and extraordinary. Tonight's guest is my very best friend. We've been best friends since we were 12 years old. I will not mention how many years ago that was, but she's been my best friend since we were 12 years old. I joke that she's my soulmate. We've been through thick and thin and thicker. And tonight we're going to discuss her being a mommypreneur. She's a dance studio owner. She owns a photography studio, and she's branching out with a new endeavor that she likes to call the Mommy Society. Ladies, gentlemen, and other, without further ado, Miss Candice Kemp. Yay!
Shake it. Get it. Give it to him. Yes.
So Candice, friend, go best friend, that's my best friend. How are you doing on this lovely day?
Good.
So, I mean, come on, tell the people. I guess, okay, we say I'm going to tell people how we met. So, me and this girl met at dance class a long time ago. We were 10 when we met. We didn't become best friends till we were 12 because it took me some time to warm up to Miss Candice.
'Cause you're a beautiful soul.
I sure am. Thank you very much. So, what had happened was we were in this dance together and we had to stand in a line, and we came out on stage. You had to put your hand on the shoulder of the girl in front of you. Miss Thang was the girl in front of me. But whenever I came to dance class, there was never a smile. Now, one of the things when you're a little girl and you go to dance class, you have the joy and love of dance in your heart. It emanates through you. And that's how it is. We're all happy and giggly and geeky, and not her. Miss Candice was up in there with the furrowed brow.
It was not furrowed. I was a trendsetter. I had the resting bitch face before it was a thing, okay?
But it wasn't. She had an attitude. So anyway.
Just a little bit. All right, but when you're 30 in a class of 10-year-olds, you're going to feel some sort of way.
She was totally 10 and not 30. So I don't even, we were all the same age. I'm not understanding. There was a few kids that were younger, but I don't know. Well, the thing is, she was the oldest in that class. I actually was a ringer because one kid dropped out 3 weeks before the recital. So they were like, hey, Megan, you can fit her costume, learn this dance real quick. So, I mean, her attitude was kind of for a good reason because she she was mad.
I was 30 in a class of 10-year-olds. I'm saying.
P.S. We're best friends because we're both drama queens. Anyway, so I had to put my hand on her shoulder, but I was like, ooh, this the mean girl. I don't want to put my hand on her shoulder. And I would wait to the last fraction of a second to put my hand on her shoulder and then dance out. And I did not speak with her. And then I don't even know, how did we start talking?
Jasmine.
My sister.
Yes. So Jasmine and I were playing outside the theater with the skip-its because we had 50 million of them. And she broke one of Makari's, my sister. And then I guess you were like, oh, you talk to them? And
that was literally the reaction. I was like, oh my God, you talking to her? You talking to them? That's the mean girl and her sisters.
Yep.
Yeah.
20 years later,
I said we wasn't saying how many years.
Oh. Except it's been more than 20 years, though, if you really think about it.
Dang. Making me be wild aggressive on my first episode.
I'm sorry. Well, a year doesn't count. 14 don't count. Doesn't count.
She Slam just told y'all it was more than 20 years. It has been. Anyway, so that's how we became friends. And then we became besties because when we were 12, she was my secret Santa. But at the time, Was it your wrist?
Oh, yeah. We had to write notes, and my silly self wrote one with my left hand because my right hand was broken.
And I really appreciated the effort she put into that. Like, she was like, I was going to ask my mother to write it, but I didn't feel like waiting, and I wanted to write you your note. And she got me the cutest little gifts. I remember she got me this long sleeve burgundy V-neck with like a sports stripe because I loved it and I wore it all the time. And a pair of like socks that were stripes. I was really into stripes as a young person. And so, like, I really liked her gifts. I felt like her gifts were thoughtful. And then I thought it was cute that she, like, went through the trouble of writing all my notes with her left hand. And the rest is history.
But wait, what's funny, though? I remember that shirt that you talked about. I don't remember being the one to buy it. I don't remember being the one to give it to you. Like, I remember the exact shirt you're talking about.
Because I wore it every other day.
Don't remember. But you know, that's why we work. Yep.
She also is famous for buying me gifts and forgetting to give me the gift and then just keeping the gift because she didn't do her laundry. That's another thing.
But it's not just you, though. It's not just you. It's you, Martha, Marion, Makari. It's a bunch of y'all. So, you know.
But anyway, that's how our love story began at the dance studio. And actually, that's a great segue into one of her businesses because my friend is like bomb.com. She owns multiple. And right now she is, her oldest business is her dance studio. So take it away, sister. Tell me about that. How you started, what made you want to do it, you know.
I didn't want to work for anybody. Like I think I started assisting dance classes at like 11 or 12. And I was like, I can do this. I like doing this. And I feel like I was 16 when I wrote my business plan for the studio. But my mom was like, you need to go to college. You have to do this. You have to do that. And then we can think about the studio if that's still really what you want to do. So then I went to Temple for a year and was like, nah, this isn't where it's at. I mean, I loved it. I loved my teachers. I loved the people I got to meet, but my heart was with the studio. So I came home, started the studio in my mom's daycare program. And then from there, it just took off. We've had, I want to say it's been, minus quarantine, it's been 16 years. So.
Yeah. So about quarantine, how have you been able to sustain the dance studio during this time? Like, what have you been doing?
So what sucked was that quarantine happened 2 weeks before our last recital. So this was actually going to be, last year was actually going to be our last year for the studio. And it was going to be our like big send-off show. And then 2 weeks before, the kids were called out of school for 4 days.
Right.
They still haven't gone back. Right. So I think for like the first couple of months, I was just depressed. And the kids were depressed. So we started doing like Zoom classes, but then the Zoom classes weren't quite hitting it. So then we just had like meetups. So I would do instead of having hip hop, I'd be like, bring your mom to dance class and let's learn these TikTok dances. Or
that's cute.
Yeah.
That's really cute.
Or it'd be like, let's learn this dance off of YouTube, something that they all watched and thought was fun. So we kind of let go of the traditional classes just because they weren't feeling it. They were stuck doing Zoom for school. They were stuck doing Zoom for like a bunch of their other extracurriculars. I wanted to keep dance class as fun and happy as possible. So we just found other ways to get her done. Yep.
Okay. Now, in there, you mentioned that it was about to be your final recital. What led you to that place? After doing it for so many years, I won't say the number again, but.
Right, because then it gives age, right? She's 40. I'm 21. So anyway, I decided to close it. It broke my heart. It broke my heart. It hurt. But I did decide to close it because I feel like there's seasons for everything. And it had been quite a bit of time. And I just felt like it's run its course. The studio's still doing really well. We still have a lot of students. We are still going right now because we haven't had our final show yet. I'm not going to just snatch that from the kids. So when we're able to have our final show, that will be, or when we are able to have a show, that will be our final show. But I started to outgrow it. Like, it was still fun, but it was more work than fun after a minute. And I'm a firm believer in passion projects, and it wasn't my passion anymore. I love teaching, but the business side of it had become too daunting.
Side note, one thing about Miss Candice is she lives a passion-filled life. She is definitely motivated by her passions, her likes, and her interests. And if she does not like it, she does not do it.
This is true.
Period.
This is true. This is true. Yep. I mean, I'll try it. I'll try it. But yeah. So I think what started leading me away from it was the photography studio, actually. The photography studio started out, it was just a suggestion from one of my friends, just like, it was that right after my ex-husband and I split. So it was a suggestion, pick up a camera, do something fun for yourself. You're creative, you'll figure it out, is basically what he said to me.
And baby, did she figure it out?
Yep. So it started out just, like I said, a passion project, just, being behind the camera, seeing what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it. And then I feel like I was like on YouTube or Google or something. I was looking at photography classes because I was like, you don't half-ass shit. You're going to do it, fucking do it.
Yeah.
So I was looking up photography classes and I came across like a boudoir site or something. And I was like, ooh, what's this? And it was, ass and titties. And I was like,
Totally her department.
So I started looking into it. I got a mentor, and she was actually the driving force behind a lot of things that I did in the beginning, because my thing was, I'm just doing it for fun. Her thing was, you're doing it for fun, you have the time, you have the money to invest in yourself, because I still had the studio. Why not actually make money off of it? And I was like, who's going to buy it? Who's going to do things like that? But all right, let's try it. And like I want to say the first 2 or 3 months, we broke probably about 18,000 in the studio. Like the first, yeah. But I was hardcore.
Let me get a hobby that's gonna pay me 18,000 in 3 months. Okay.
So, I mean,
I need to get from on the wrong side of this camera.
So I'm saying behind the camera is where it's at. But so after those 3 months, I was like, oh shit, like, okay. So I actually started to slow down, started to like look at what I was doing, actually have a plan. Because in those 3 months, I was shooting nonstop. I was going from shooting to studio, shooting to teaching dance, shooting to teaching dance. So I knew I had to like slow up a bit. So then I started like taking about maybe 3 people a month. And that's when I realized that it wasn't even all about the ass and titties anymore. It was about just creating art for these women that were walking in, because their self-esteem and their confidence, like, it became, I don't even know the word for it. Like it became, it took on a life of its own. Like, it wasn't just about the pictures anymore. I was actually helping people doing what I was doing, and like,
let me be a Southern church lady for a moment. Just for a moment. It became ministry.
Okay. Hallelujah. We need to get you one of your church hats. I'm gonna need.
Do you want me to go in the closet and get one? I'm gonna have props on the side next time we meet. Yes. And then I'll put on the church lady hat for that moment, and then I'll take it back off. That's what we'll do.
Let's hold on to that idea. I love it.
Pin.
Yep. Yep. But yeah, so that took on a life of its own, and don't get me wrong, I love teaching dance, but it started to become a chore, chasing after parents, trying to get the kids to come to class on time, and trying to make, no one gets into the dance studio business to make money. Like, they just don't. You just don't do it. You get into it because you love it. And it was starting to get a little daunting, trying to stay in love with it while trying to pay my bills and raise my kid. It just got to be too much. And then the second one came along.
By the second one, she means the second child.
Yes. Yep, my second beautiful soul came along, and it just got to be too much. Too much. I still love it. I'm still planning on teaching. I know that I can't run that business side of the studio anymore. And I want to hold on to dance because it is one of those things that makes me happy, but running a dance studio does not. So, used to. But like I said, everything has a season.
Yeah.
I'm totally going to cry when I watch this later and be like, how'd you get through that without like bawling?
Actually, I'm hoping I can make you cry now, and then we'll have it immortalized, because she does not show any type of vulnerability ever. So, if we can actually catch her eyes watering on camera, we can save it and show it to her grandkids and be like, see, one day Nana did get emotional. This one time when she was talking about her money.
Yes. Touche. All right.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Let's continue. But yeah, for me, I absolutely, I love your photography, not just because you're my best friend, but because, one, I've had the opportunity to shoot with you, and it really is a confidence booster. Like, you feel very like America's Next Top Model dream come true. It's amazing to be there, and then you give such good direction, and your dance training really goes very well with, like, what do you call it, the posing. So, like, the angles of the body, like, how the body moves. You just understand that. You have a great understanding of it. And I also love, you specialize in boudoir photos, but it does not have, like, that. Sometimes when you think about boudoir, it feels like raunchy. Like, your photos, you feel sensual, but it doesn't feel like, oh, I'm doing Penthouse magazine. No offense to Penthouse if you do that type of thing. But, for some people that can feel a little overwhelming. But there's like a subtle, like, there's a sensuality to it that doesn't make you feel uncomfortable when you're the person who's like the model or the subject of the photo, I should say. So yeah, I think you do a great job. You have a great eye.
Thank you.
I enjoy it. Insert my favorite pics of myself. Taken by Miss Candice Michelle.
Yeah.
It's me. Okay.
You stupid.
I am. That's why you love me, though. That's why you love me, though. That's why you love me, though.
Oh, my
It's
corn,
like you.
my corn titties. Come on now.
I'm gonna have to steal that. Corn titties. Everything grew, didn't it? Corn
It
titties.
did, girl. Corn titties.
We gotta pull it together, friend. Okay. Okay.
Here we go. Here we go.
Okay. Back to
And scene.
So, with all of the empowering that you do with what's it called, Candice Michelle Portraits. Let's not get the business name incorrect, right? Candice Michelle Portraits. Now that's starting to kind of give birth to another little project that I'm excited to see you develop. So talk to me about the Mommy Society.
So, while I'm doing all of these portraits, I realized that my client that I'm steadily talking to through like social media and ads and like just my marketing, I thought it was women that I was speaking to, but it became a more specific subset of women. It was moms. Hey, I feel like so much we get we carry these kids for 10 months and then we carry them for the rest of their lives, basically. And they're beautiful, beautiful, beautiful souls. We love them. We absolutely love them. Love you. But we lose so much of ourselves in the process. It's like we gain so much, but we lose so much at the same time. So this new project is something that I've been working on kind of quietly. I've just started to, make a little noise about it. But quarantine and me being single has...
Hashtag she's single, fellas. She's looking for a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aries. Water signs and earth signs need not apply.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mrs. Leo. Okay. That is not even why I said it. Oh my God. So I started I don't even know how did that happen?
What?
Did that happen?
Mommy Society?
Yeah.
Well, honey, I don't know how any of this stuff happens for you, to be honest, because we're 16 years old, and you talk about, my studio, and I'm like, girl, go to 11th grade English and shut up. And then one day, you just had a camera, and you were like, from my photography studio, and I was like, girl, shut up, you teach ballet, like, what is going on? But now look at you. So I don't know where any of it comes from, but God bless you. And your vision. And the fact that you actually get up and do the stuff that you imagine. Because that's
it takes a long time, though. I sit on stuff for a long time. I think it was one of those times in quarantine where I was like, shit, I got 2 kids, single mom, the studio's not open. I need to figure out how, this is exactly how it happened. I need to figure out how I need to make some money. I got to pay bills. Bills aren't stopping just because the world stopped for a second. So I started to think that maybe I would do like a chair class or something online, like a virtual something or other for the moms. I knew I didn't want to jump on that Zoom photo shoot train. It wasn't my style. A lot of people did really well with it, but it wasn't my thing. So I was trying to figure out how, doing the social distance thing, could I still make money with the skills that I have? So I Googled just how people were doing different workshops, and then one popped up with how to ride the D. It was like ride the D workshop or something like that. And I was like,
click. Wait a minute. I had not heard that story before. I didn't know that was like the light bulb, and so I wasn't ready just now when you said that. I was like, let's see what this is. So I was watching it, and I was like, oh yeah, everybody don't do that? You don't do that? Yeah. Okay, all right, I see, okay. So from there, I started, falling down the rabbit hole, as I do with these projects. So it was,
Okay, they're doing a workshop on that. What else can I find? So, just clicking. And then eventually I ended up on a sex coaching website for your certification. So I'm like, this is a real thing.
It is.
I can do that. I can do that. So I did hella research, just trying to figure out what requirements were for sex coaching and what it is exactly, and who the leading experts are and what they're doing, and you gotta do your fact checking. So I did all of that, and I settled on a program and I should be board certified by the summer, and I'm actually a little sooner than that. Anyway, I digress. I'm getting board certified to be a clinical sexologist so that I can help other people, specifically moms, with bringing back pleasure in their lives. And not necessarily just sexual, but that's what we're going to be focusing a lot on, because a lot of times, just like with the photography studio, how I was reminded that we aren't reminded that we're beautiful all the time. I feel like a lot of moms forget that they actually deserve pleasure. Like, we get so caught up in, what our kids are doing. Are our kids happy? Are our husbands happy? Are our significant others happy, that we forget to check in with ourselves? And you know what they say, you can't pour from an empty cup. So I want to help women reconnect with themselves. That's the real deal. Find your inner goddess and get off while you do it. That's what we gonna do.
Amen. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm excited about that.
So the Mommy Society is gonna kind of combine maybe it's gonna combine kind of the photo shoots and the sex coaching
and movement.
And movement. So all three in one for the mamas.
Yep. Because I also, in my, not going to say how many years of teaching dance, we'd have moms dance, and the moms just one day a week would come in and learn a dance for the show, and just to watch them transform from the first week to the 8th week was crazy. Just learning a dance, the way they tapped into their sensuality and how hot they felt coming off that stage, or when the lights hit them on the stage. The emails that I got after the show every year, my husband this, my husband that, we did this, baby number 4 is on the way.
Well, okay.
You're right. So I guess in a way I've always been, helping women with that confidence in the dance studio, then in the photography studio, and now we're going to move on to the sexology. So I'm excited.
Wow, you should be. And look at that. I like how all of your passions, you were able to take all of them and kind of smush them into one thing, and with a purpose. Because I feel like that really also helps to drive you. There's always purpose behind it. Like I said, you live a passion-filled life. And so I really admire that about you. And like I said earlier about you have these ideas and you actually implement them. Because a lot of people, it's hard, especially because when you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, and just starting out, it is so hard to just step out on faith and do these things without, any safety net. But girl, you do it, and you do it well.
That's, I think, because I started early. The fact that people learn how to drive early, because by the time they get to be my age, you see some things and literal actions and consequences that happen on the road. It makes you a little nervous to learn to start driving. Shut up.
So what she's alluding to is the fact that she still does not have a driver's license. No, she does not live in New York City. She lives in a city where you need a driver's license.
It's scary.
You need a car.
All you need is a cell phone and a credit card to call Uber. That's what you need.
Uber saved this woman's life, okay? Yeah, no, Uber has not been around a long time. Uber saved
As my
her.
best friend. My best friend.
Go get a license.
Anyway, I say that to say. No. I say that to say. It's not so scary when you're 17 and opening a business or starting a business. Like, all the things that adults would worry about. You're 17 and you're just like, all right, it'll work itself out. I'll figure it out on the way. And you do. And life kicks you in the balls. But you realize you get through it. Year after year after year, you get through it. Year after year after year, you're still standing. It's not so scary because you started young.
Yeah, because
So
you ain't had no
why-
BG&E bill when you started.
Yep.
So that took a little bit of the edge off, just a little bit.
Yep. Took a lot of it off though. Like, there was a lot of things that I didn't have to worry about. I could just focus on my business. I didn't have kids. I didn't have a BG&E bill. I think the only thing I did have to worry about was my cell phone bill at that time.
Right.
So I was able to focus all of my energy into building the studio, and we were successful. It took a few years, but it got to be to a point where I was proud every year. I was proud of myself every year for making it, but it got to be something that I felt good about, and then I didn't. So then I got rid of parents, and then I felt good again. And then
Did this lady just say she got rid of customers?
I did. You got to protect your peace. I had a letter that I gave to parents at the end of the year about whether or not they could come back. And if I was done, 1 year I did probably about 15 families. And I was like, I'm so sorry, this is not the place for you. Here are a list of dance studios in the area that are comparable to IPA. Like, you got to protect your peace. And I think we went from I think we had over 100 students. And by the time it was all said and done, I want to say it was 50 something. And that's where we've sat ever since. And it's not because people don't call or contact or whatever. I just tell them it's a wait list. And technically it is because I like to keep the class sizes small. But I'm way happier with the studio numbers being low. But I can't keep cutting them, So at this point, you just got to be finito.
Yeah. But now I'm going to jump back real quick. I'm going to take it back to when I mentioned you being brave, and you were saying it's easy when you start young. But even right now, we're in the midst of a quarantine, so you're not operating at full capacity with the dance studio or the photography business. You're planning on closing the dance studio, but you're still working on a business plan to develop kind of a new business and to get a new space. And you do have BG&E now. P.S. BGE is Baltimore Gas and Electric. For those of you out there who are like, what is BGE? It's the gas and electric bill. You have all the bills. You're a single mom of 2. It's scary. But you still do it.
Yeah, I don't find it scary. I don't think it's scary right now.
Okay.
Now, once we get into a space and I am in that new space, in that new business space along with the new physical space, I probably feel it a little bit. I mean, who wouldn't? But the thing is, Jesus literally puts money in my pocket. Literally drops money in my pocket.
This is just Jesus over her head.
But I don't stress about that part as much as other people. I'm not gonna say I don't stress about it at all, but I give it to Jesus, and they're always there when I need it. So
if hashtag too blessed to be stressed was a person. Okay.
Yep. I got stories for that one.
we're gonna have to. You and I can talk forever, really.
Mhm.
Like, it's very rare that we get on a call and don't speak for at least 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be like my recurring guest. Maybe we'll do like a throwback special one time and just, really just go over old stories. Then maybe some days we'll just dissect just different parts of our lives together. But yeah, this has been great, and I love listening to your inspirations, like the things that like inspire you, and just how like it's so interesting because it can be like the tiniest thing, just like, oh, I was clicking on the internet, and then it let me this and it let me that. I'm like, oh, I had a camera, and I was just like, this is fun.
Yep. All of that. I had to take stuff and run with it. Yep.
But not in real life though. We don't run. We too cute.
Who does that?
Somebody, but not us. Well, my dear, it's been great. I'm definitely going to have you back again. Thank you so much for sharing your story with me. Thank you for sharing your friendship with me too. Like, for real. Ow. It's been great. I got to figure out how to end this thing. Okay, like I need to exit. Like, okay, bye, friend.
Bye, Carol.
Yeah.
Thanks, friend.
Yeah. SB.
Bye.